What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of End of the Tunnel. So I'm your host, as always, Garrett Causer, and if you probably noticed already that I'm not in my normal recording position, and reason for that being that I got up a little bit later today than usual and didn't have the time that I usually did. Wanted to still get a video made, so I decided I'd do it while I'm cooking my breakfast. So, cooking up some eggs here. Going to make myself a wrap. Got some egg whites, chicken, bacon, cheese. You know what it is. In today's episode, I kind of wanted to, talk a little bit about the gym and talk about my personal training, because I know I've talked about it quite a bit on my Instagram, on my Facebook, but it's something that I haven't really talked too much about on YouTube here. Something a little bit different. But that is, what my main job is. I'm a personal trainer by trade, and kind of figured that it went well with today, cooking here today, because this is actually my meal before I go train. So, so kind of my story with working out there is I started working out when I was in, I believe, grade 10, and at that point it was really just focused on working out for football, making sure that I was in good shape for that, because it was something that, at that point I'd been playing for probably 6-7 years at least, and it was something that I knew that I wanted to go past high school with. So it was something that, I knew that I had to do some working out to actually get in shape for it. So that's kind of how I started. And at the time, I grew up in a small town. We didn't have any personal trainers. That wasn't something that I really had any knowledge about at the time, just because it wasn't something around me in my life. And so kind of what I had to do was really spend a lot of time Googling and watching videos on YouTube, and that's really how I was introduced to a lot of the stuff in the gym, and how I started learning how to do everything in there, which, some stuff wasn't the best form. You learn over time, but it got me kind of what I needed to know. It taught me what I needed to know, and I was able to get in better shape from there. And it was definitely showed as, I progressed on the field playing football, continued getting tryouts for all-star teams, that kind of thing, and it just worked really well. And so that was kind of where I started to fall in love with the gym. That was something, like, I remember the summer in between grade 11 and grade 12, like, literally all I'd spend my time doing was I'd work for a bit, and then, high school, you're working part-time jobs, that kind of thing, and then the rest of the time, like, I'd spend working out. I probably spent I spent a lot of time in the summer. I'm pretty sure I was in the gym like 6 days a week at that point, just because it really was something that I felt comfortable in. And I don't think at the time I really realized why that was, but the gym's always been a mental escape for me, and especially when I'm out of season with football, when I was playing, it was something where that really helped me to get some energy out, because football was always that thing where I could just have that release of my anger, release of everything that I was feeling. So the gym kind of became that in the off season, and the gym, I said it when I was in high school, the gym was my second home. Like, I spent so much time there, and I just kind of fell in love with it during high school. And once I got out of high school, I graduated, I started playing junior football with Edmonton Huskies, and that was when I was really starting to go through the depression, go through my anxiety. I always had hints of it, but that was when it really hit me hard, and that's when I really realized that I had it, and that I was dealing with so much anxiety, that I was dealing with everything. That was when, for a while there, just because I was so busy in football season, I couldn't work out, which was normal. But even after the season, what was weird was I didn't start working out, because I really, at that point, I was going to work and I was going home. To be completely honest, a lot of those nights I was drinking, just to kind of numb everything I was feeling and keep going. And so I think it was, November, December. I realized that I need to start getting back in the gym. One, for football, but two, because it did make me feel better. So I tried out a few gyms in Edmonton here, and one thing that I struggled with at the start there was that I needed to find a gym that I was comfortable in, because in Wetaskiwin I was really used to just having these small gyms where, maybe there's 5-6 other people in the gym when you're there. And I was a normal late night workouter, sure, we'll call it a word. So yeah, it was usually an empty gym I was used to, so I didn't like having a gym that had a bunch of people in it that was super busy. Because it made me feel uncomfortable. Finally found a gym that I was comfortable in, and that was really when I started, I was starting medication at that point for my depression. That's when I was really learning about everything going on with me, and that's when I really noticed how much of a difference the gym made in my life when I was going on a consistent basis. How much less stressed I was, how much better I felt. Not even on the physical side, but on the mental side, how much better I felt. And then I've always had problems with my confidence, and in all areas, not just my body, but especially on my body too. So as I worked out and put on some muscle, I was starting to feel more confident, starting to feel a little bit better about myself. And I just noticed that obviously, I still had the depression, still was anxious, it was still there, but it was far less than what I was dealing with prior. And around that time was when I decided that I wanted to become a personal trainer. Because at that point, I knew that the gym was kind of my therapy. That was, I've tried, that was what made me happy. And, for an hour to 2 hours in a day, I could just shut off my mind in a healthy way and focus on lifting the weights. And focus on physically beating myself up in the gym, rather than mentally beating myself up like I was doing the rest of the time. And yeah, it really just kind of went from there. Even in my grade 12 year of football, because I was one of the bigger guys on the team, I had some of the rookies that were asking for help in the gym, wanting to kind of learn what I was doing to help them. And that was something that I love doing. I love, one thing that, if you know me, you know that I'm a big fan of helping other people. That's why I started this channel. That's why I do pretty much everything I do, is because it's my love of helping other people. So I already had not full experience as a trainer, but it was something that I understood, kind of the idea of what you'd be doing, helping people learn to work out, that kind of thing. And over time, football became less of a focus for me. It wasn't as much fun as it had been prior for me. And a big reason for that was my mental health. But then came the point where I decided, hey, I'm going to go to PT school, get my certificate as a personal trainer, and do that. And I'm so thankful that I did, and I decided to make the changes that I did. Because that was when I started school. So when I decided I was going to start school was November of 2018. And in January of 2019, at the end of January 2019, was when I started my classes. Was still working full time during that. I've mentioned the job that I hated prior in earlier videos, and I was working that job at the time as well. And 4 months I was in an accelerated program. 4 months went by, and I got my diploma at that point. Working 8 hours a week or 8 hours a day. Sorry. 8 hours a week would be light. But yeah, working 8 hours a day, and then going to school for another 4 hours on top of that, and yeah, 4 months got her done. And in June of last year, 2019, I decided that I was done with that full-time job. I was just going to make the leap into running my own business and hope that it worked. And yeah, it was tough for a while, but it's really been one of the biggest blessings in my life doing that. It's hit me here recently that I've been working with some of my clients for over a year now, which is mind-boggling to me. Aside from those 3 months where everything got shut down because of COVID, it's been over a year in this job and doing this, and I love it. It gives me the opportunity to see people who, whether it's, I have some clients who literally just wanted to come in and get a good workout in and get a sweat in, and from there, thinking of one in particular, has completely fallen in love with lifting, because that was something that he was never really taught to do, and it was something that he never really did. It was a lot of cardio work, that kind of thing, but has completely fallen in love with it. I have another client who has told me that beginning training with me has been one of the best decisions she's made. To see another client of mine I think of that had shoulder pain for years, and within the first couple weeks of working with me, it was gone. And to see that relief on him, to see him being able to stand so much taller and just look prouder because of the shape that he's getting into. The clients that I have that I've built such great friendships with, and just seeing them find the therapy in the gym the way that I did, and hearing them come in and I didn't want to come here today, but I knew that I had to come because you were there waiting for me, and I knew that I was going to be feeling better after. And then hearing about how much better they feel after, it really warms my heart. That's, like I said, the whole reason that I began personal training was to help others find some kind of sanity and just some happiness in the same way I found some for myself. To help people in the only way that I knew how to help people at that time. And to see what it's really led me into in the rest of my life. It's been incredible. I still have the hard days, and it's still tough, but there's days where I'm struggling, and just having my clients, knowing that my clients are there, one, to support me as much as I support them, and two, that they somewhat depend on me in the gym there. It helps me to keep going some days. And it's I never would have thought of how much my life would have changed when I started this path with personal training, and how much better things could have gotten. It's been insane. If you're any of my clients that are watching this, thank you. Because I don't know where my life would be at this point if I wasn't personal training, if I didn't have the clients that I have. But again, that's why personal training. That's why I got into it, and I wasn't sure how much help I was going to really be able to do at that point. And obviously, I'm not changing the world yet, but being able to see the confidence grow in each of those people one at a time, that's worth it for that. And I absolutely love personal training because I get to continue doing that. And with that being said, I've got my wrap all done. Got some eggs in there, threw in some egg whites for a little bit of an extra protein without kicking in some more fat. Chicken bacon, a little bit of extra protein, tastes good. Cheese, got the wrap. Now typically for a little bit of a sauce, I'd typically go with some tomato paste or salsa, just something that's a little bit different, that kind of puts a little bit of flavor on it but isn't too loaded in calories. If I was feeling a little bit like a higher calorie, go with ranch, something like that. However, today I have none of those at my house, so I'm really not sure what I'm going to do for a sauce. I'll figure that out in a minute here. But with that, I'm also going to have a little bit of a protein shake. Got some pumpkin spice protein here. I'm going to mix it with some coconut milk because that's honestly my favorite way to make a protein shake now. Just started doing it within the last month or so, and it's mint. It tastes amazing. And the coconut milk's only like 80 calories a cup, which, for my calorie count, I can handle doing that. Especially because most of my protein shakes that I make in a day aren't with the coconut milk. Most of them are with water. But yeah, this will be my pre-lift meal. Gonna go to the gym here in the next half hour or so. Once I get all this done, got a couple stops to make before that, and then I'll run to the gym. Got a chest workout on deck today. Got a client at the gym, and yeah, hopefully get this video edited today to get it out, but we'll see how things go. But I hope that somebody got some value out of this. I know that this was a lot about my story and a lot about me, but really what I want you to get out of it is, if you feel a calling towards something, or if you feel like something's right for you, go for it. It might be tough in the beginning, and to be honest, starting my business was fucking rough. Especially running your own business is something that it takes some time to build it up. It's not easy, but I'm so much happier doing it than I was working the jobs that I was before. If you feel like something is for you, try it. Especially if you're in your 20s, just because we have the time to experiment at this point. If you have a family, obviously, as I've talked before, it's harder to dive into something brand new just because you have that family to support, but there's still ways to figure it out. To me, life is about finding what makes you happy. And this right now is making me happy, so I'm going to continue doing it. And I hope that all my viewers find something that makes them happy and are able to do it on a consistent basis. And with that being said, a little bit of a self-plug. If you're in Edmonton or area, or even if you're not, I've also just launched some virtual training as well, online training. If you were curious about any prices or anything about like that, or where I work out of, check me out on Instagram at Kasurderek, Kasurderek. I've got a post, I literally just posted it here today, on November 3rd, about what my new prices are for the going into the next 2 months of the year. But yeah, that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this, got some value out of it, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. Remember, always keep fighting.
Just another sunny day in Southern California. It's where the people